There will be no more sanctuary cities?
No way. Okay. No way. No more sanctuary cities. I wouldn't even say 4 years. I'd say give it to the end of the year. Sanctuary cities are over. There are no more sanctuary cities as far as the federal government's concerned. What a sanctuary city means is they are harboring criminals. They are harboring illegal aliens. And if you're tipping someone off when there's going to be an ICE raid, DHS raid, we will find you and we will prosecute you. That jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. Not going to happen anymore. It's a new day and we're coming out.
Well, in that clip, as you heard, Pam Bondi was talking real tough about what's going on with sanctuary cities. And real quick, as I get into this video, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel catch a lot of flack from conservatives, and rightfully so. You know, during the campaign, they spoke very strongly about how they were going to come in and just start making people, you know, be accountable, holding people accountable. So a lot of folks are saying, why aren't we seeing people get arrested? Why aren't we seeing people thrown in jail? And I want you to really understand this with me real quick. Because to understand something means that it's above our head and we're under it. To understand something is to be on top of it and have full comprehension. So get an understanding of this. Knowing that the mainstream media is controlled by the Democrat Party, and that under the Biden 4 years, they got something like 230, 240 federal judges in place. We're talking about left-wing radical judges that are doing things that we see right now with President Trump, suing every time he wants to deport somebody, trying to block this and block that. So with that being said, whenever Pam Bondi or Kash Patel want to come after a Democrat politician that is so deeply insulated, not only protected by the mainstream media, but also allegedly by people within different agencies in high positions that are current and some that are retired that still have reach within these agencies. These folks that can conduct these type of high level crimes, they're high level and they're insulated for a reason, to protect themselves and to make it hard to be held accountable. So when they do come at somebody, it's got to be air freaking tight. So tight that the American people can see through any propaganda that the Democrats try to spew. So I just wanted to say that to make sure that we are really giving them the right time and the right level of confidence. And remember, it's only like the first 6 months. We're still within the first 6 months of a 4-year term. And with the Letitia James and a lot of other stuff, we're seeing different judges that have been thrown in jail and prosecuted. They're rocking and rolling, but they're making sure it's airtight. So let's get into this. So Pam Bondi was up on the Hill. She had to go appear before Congress as far as on getting the budget that she needs for her department. And as you know, the Democrats take this time to embarrass any Republican politician, department head, whatever it is you want to call it, rather than discuss the issues of budgetary needs and what's going to be implemented, what's going to be taken out. Nope, they use this time to get gotcha. But the difference with this one, Pam Bondi did something that I wish all these people would do when they get called up like this and the Democrats start trying to attack them. Now, I want you to watch these clips. And in this first one, we got Madeleine Dean, Representative Madeleine Dean from Pennsylvania. Now, watch as she tries to attack Pam Bondi, but Pam is going to knock it out of the park with her attempt at a gotcha moment. But Pam flips it and makes it a gotcha moment for herself. Check this out.
Okay. The three hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are two types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
Hold on. No,
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking for the World Cup.
Attorney
You can't
General,
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that said Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman,
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a
So as you saw, she tried to give it, but when Pam gave it back, she didn't like that very much. Now, that's just the first one. Now, in this next clip we got for you, she's going to try to be held accountable by Representative DeLuro out of Connecticut. Now, she going to think she's got a gotcha moment, and Pam is going to make her look silly. Check this out. And this one is about weapons, ATF, and different rights that the Democrats, as you know, they want to remove the Second Amendment. And if you saw what happened in Minnesota in 2020 under Governor Tim Walz, who right now, the person that has been alleged in the unaliving of the senators in Minnesota, who wrote a confession letter to the FBI stating that Tim Walz also wanted him to take the life of Representative Senator Amy Klobuchar, the representative from Minnesota, so that Tim Walz could take her seat. In 2020, there was like a militia type army in Minnesota, in Minneapolis to be specific, telling people they had to stay in their house. And if the people were outside on their porch, this militia was literally letting loose rounds on these people, forcing them to go back inside. It was crazy.
Oh, there's more. Look at this. They just keep coming.
Oh, go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. Get in.
Oh, God, that hurt. You good?
Are you okay?
Right on the fucking crotch.
Are you okay? You got hit?
I'm good. They're fucked for that, dude. What?
Okay.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help. It helps get the information out to other people. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you are already subscribed or subscribing right now, make sure that you hit the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Thanks. So in this question, watch her try to do a gotcha as far as on that. But again, Pam is going to knock it out of the park. Check this one out.
The proposal will weaken our ability to stop gun trafficking, and it will greatly reduce ATF support for state and local law enforcement that helps them prevent and solve violent crimes. It's a bad proposal.
Do you want to hear my answer in 3 seconds? You mentioned regulatory functions. We will not be having ATF agents go to the doors of gun owners in the middle of the night, asking them about their guns, period.
The proposal will weaken.
So as you see, in case you missed that, in a lot of the liberal and Democrat legislation that's taking place in different states right now, weird things in California where if somebody like breaks in your house, unless they physically like attack you, meaning if they're in your house, they're taking your television, they stealing your bed, they're taking the shoes out of your children's closet, taking the shoes off your family's feet. As long as they're not trying to harm you, you're unable to attack them. Wacky crap like that out in California, or like I talked about in Minnesota. And so Pam is making it perfectly clear. No, there will not be a situation where the federal agents will be knocking on people's doors in the middle of the night, demanding they answer information just because they own a weapon. That is crazy and insane. But that's how deranged these Democrats are. Now, in this next clip right here, again, Representative Morrell wants to start getting into different talks about pardons and January 6th, because you know that's the Democrats' go-to. But Pam is going to eat this dude up and take his gotcha moment and make him wish that he would have got on with it and would have never even tried it. And the one thing about Pam Bondi, it seems like she's finding her voice when she's going up against these Democrats, because one of the things that makes me sick, they attempt to attack these people. You know when you're going into one of these hearings, it's going to be an attack. They're going to come at you. They don't give a damn about real policy. They don't give a damn about anything that will impact the American people. It's all about saying some wild, crazy gotcha moment. So their left-wing extremist radicalized base, which is shrinking every day, can say, oh, look at what they're doing. Yeah, they're fighting Trump and keep donating. That's all it's about. Remember, the Democrat Party slogan is vote blue no matter who. Tell me and they call MAGA a cult, where we have actual debates and we have actual runoffs and primaries. And the reason that there is infighting is because there is debate. There is open disagreement. We're on the Democrat side, vote blue no matter who. Matter of fact, I added an extra line onto it. It says, vote blue no matter who except for who we tell you to. That's their slogan. Vote blue no matter who except for who they tell you to. Brain dead fools. But check this out.
What's your position on whether the pardons cover these separate offenses?
Yeah, the pardon power rests with the president, not the Department of Justice, and some of that is pending litigation, and I cannot discuss pending litigation.
Well, I'm not asking you about who has the right to a pardon. I think as the Department of Justice in February wrote, the pardon is an act of grace which removes the punishment from a crime a person has committed. It further said, in its effect, the granting of a pardon is in no sense the overturning of a judgment of conviction. It is an executive action that mitigates or sets aside punishment. So as the chief law enforcement officer, what's your opinion? Not the president's power, whether he can offer a pardon. That's pretty clear in the Constitution. But for crimes committed unrelated to January 6th, would you suggest that the pardons would cover activities or crimes potentially committed outside of that by the same person?
Well, I don't know if you're referring to Joe Biden pardoning his son after he said he would not pardon Hunter Biden, or the
No, I actually
commutation
referred
of
to
all
January
the
6th.
all the sentences that the people that were on death row. I've met with those families,
No,
and all of those sentences were commuted. I'm not going to comment on pardons on either side of the aisle.
So, well, I'm not asking about either side. I'm asking, you're the chief law enforcement officer in the United States. You have a responsibility directly, you sworn oath to the Constitution, not the president. Want to know what your views are on the extent to which pardons cover potential crimes committed by individuals who have been pardoned but unrelated to January 6th.
Do you mean the ones that were done by the auto pen? I'm not going to discuss anything that
Mr.
could
Chairman,
be or not be pending litigation.
Respectfully, Ms. DeLauro accused you of filibustering. I think that's the height of filibustering. This is a serious topic. And for you to suggest that you don't have an opinion or to divert to other things that had nothing to do with January 6th pardons, I think is frankly demeaning to your responsibility.
And see, that's the thing. They're upset because she refused to play along with their political game. Their January 6th thing that they are just so obsessed with, and they don't realize everybody knows about it. Nobody cares. He is the president now. Everybody knew about that. Everybody knew about him securing the border and deporting people. Everything that the Democrats keep taking out bullhorn saying, hey, he's stopping transgender boys from competing with girls. Hey, he's closing the borders. Hey, he's focused on making people not forcing people to buy EVs. Can you believe it? It's almost like they're the only ones that's shocked. And I believe that because they stay within this blue echo chamber. Do you know how many people I speak with right now? And this is late June 2025, who still believe suckers and losers, who still believe fine people on both sides, who still believe that the speech that they show before the people went to the Capitol, that the one that has the deleted lines peacefully and patriotically taken out, people that when I show that to them still right now are like, whoa, I never saw that. Or when they find out that Charlottesville never happened, that Joe Biden said was his motivation for getting in the race, it never happened. It was fake. And so just another piece of Pam Bondi just really just putting it in their face. Madeleine Dean, the same one who we saw, that woman looks miserable. I mean, she just looks crazy miserable, don't she? I mean, to me at least, I don't know about you, but just to me, she just doesn't seem like a very happy person. But, with that being said, regardless of what. So it says right here, Bondi to house them, grilling her about selling Trump media stock, take a class of financial literacy. And this was just the coup de grace to just top it all off. Rep. Madeleine Dean out of Pennsylvania, oh my God, get out of there, is suddenly interested in attorney Pam Bondi's stock portfolio. Despite years of conservatives howling over former Speaker Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, Democrats have never bothered to check into the ethics of her curious trading habits. Now that there's a chance to dig into President Donald Trump, Trump's AG, however, Dems have found themselves interested in seemingly fishy stock transitions. During the House Appropriations Committee hearing, Dean asked Bondi to explain the timing of her Trump media stock, which amounted to about $1 million. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than 1 million worth of your shares in Trump media stock? She grilled. Trump media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. Bondi replied with exactly the attitude Dean deserved. I comply with my ethics, and yeah, I would take a class in financial literacy if you think I profited from that, because I lost a tremendous amount of money, Congresswoman, the AG said. And the reason why that was so funny is because here's what happened. The disclosure forms do not include the specific amount of the stock sold or their worth, but instead provide a rough range. The documents do not say exactly what time she sold the shares or at what price. The company's stock price closed on April the 2nd at $18.76 and opened the next morning after the press conference at $17.92 before falling more in the days ahead. In addition to selling between $1 million and $5 million worth of Trump media shares, Bondi's disclosure forms show she also sold between $250,000 and $500,000 worth of warrants in Trump media, which typically give a holder the right to purchase the shares. Meaning, if it was some type of big conspiracy, she lost money. She sold everything because she didn't know what was going on. She wasn't in on the game because things did go down. But guess what? Things rebounded heavily, and she didn't get those back. She never reclaimed that. So, in other words, with Madeleine Dean just highlighting one segment of the transaction, which is her selling $1 million worth. Yeah, she did do that. But keep talking on what else that meant. It also meant that in selling, that she also lost on the actual rebound of everything. Because remember now, the plummet only happened because the mainstream media fear-mongered everybody. And once people realized that the mainstream media was full of BS and the Democrat politicians had no idea what they were talking about, and these so-called economic laureates, they were totally wrong. Markets not only took off, they broke records and stayed at the highest levels for the most consecutive days in the history of the markets. Check it, look it up. But they don't talk about that on the mainstream media, that Donald Trump set records for the longest amount of consecutive days of profits in the markets in 2025. But hey, you know what I'm saying? That's boring stuff that, people don't really want to know. You don't really want to know, do you? Because if you do, I'll make a video about it. But hey, if you stayed in there and hung in with me this long, I really do appreciate it. I just wanted to show you Pam Bondi was out here bringing it. And let's give her some grace and be patient. She's doing a heck of a job. And let's realize this. These Democrats are so freaking corrupt. And they've done so much. Where does she start? Where does she prioritize? And who can she trust? Because you know what I mean? There's a lot of these rhinos that are still hiding. They become more insulated because they realize, the pendulum has swung towards the center, which is actually more right. So they don't want to be out it, but they still could be covertly working with the other side. So they've got to be patient and they got to be airtight. But I assure you, I believe, like I don't believe anything else, they will make these people pay one by one. They dropping the hammer. But look at the economy rolling and roaring. Look at the borders shut and secure. Look at foreign trade being leveled and balanced. Trump is fulfilling every single promise that he made. And I'm extremely happy and I'm confident. And I know we made the right choice. And I appreciate you, Patriot. So thank you for hanging out, watching me. And if you're watching it, if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.